And 5 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. If you could all stand for the pledge. Linda, stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Healthy roll. I'm here. First, it's going to be a little bit late. Carmen Gastero. Here. Linda Johnson on Zoom. Here. Rob Lucknow. Here. Charlie Manning. Here. James Westfall. Okay. Public comment. At this time, individuals can speak on any topic on the agenda for up to 3 minutes. Time extensions are at the discretion of the village president. No action can be taken on items not listed except as a possible referral to committee, staff, or future board agenda item. I have a list here. Paul Rico?
Yes. What would you like me to do?
Just stand and name and address.
Thank you. I am Paul Rico, the owner, and I'm here to represent 131 Lamplighter Lane in 4226 Lighthouse Drive. I'll keep this very brief and to the point. We support the village of Wind Point providing safe and reliable drinking water, and we understand the importance of that initiative. We oppose the unnecessary and irresponsible expenditures that are being proposed by the current Wind Point board, the subcommittees, the village's employees, contractors, consultants, and or other advisors. Our acquisition includes the new municipal buildings that are being proposed and are completely unnecessary. The modifications to 4 Mile Road, Lighthouse Drive, and 3 Mile Road, and any additional equipment purchases at this time. We also oppose the disingenuous process that the village governance and some of the village employees have engaged in regarding these matters. We think it's been very difficult to track and understand what's going on. And it seems like that plans are very far down the track and things are out for bid for pricing before it's easy for the residents to even be aware of what is going on. Additionally, we strongly oppose the debt structure and increased taxes that the village board is proposing to fund unnecessary and irresponsible expenditures.
In there, in the front, in the
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm trying to be under a minute, so.
Well,
That was my goal, was to get minutes flat, now you're there.
You're fine.
You got 3. I don't want to be 3. I want to be brief.
Okay, that's
I have
fine.
respect for all of you. You have a lot to do tonight. You have lives outside here also.
Yeah, no worries.
We've always been avid supporters of the Wind Point DPW in the past, and this ties back to the buildings. And additionally, we truly do appreciate the help from the other communities and the individuals from there that came here to help us with the storm cleanup. However, we were a little disappointed with the storm damage response from the village of Wind Point, the evening of May 15th, and in the days and weeks following the storm. I won't get into the details of that today. In our opinion, the disappointing response on the village's part had nothing to do with equipment or buildings, and is not a good reason to spend a lot of money for a new building at this point for the public works issue. We believe those are unrelated issues. That's what I have to say. I thank you and good evening.
Thank you. Dr. Say.
I have 2 items tonight. Thank you. First one is I support the gentleman's comments about the new village building. It's kind of a hot topic in the village right now, and everybody I've talked to is not in favor of it. I would like to see a referendum to get the village's total voice on the matter before any expenditures are made. Second item I noticed in the packet that was online today was the liquor license application for Shoops Park. Incorrectly states that it's in the county of Waukesha. So that being said, I don't know if that's the fatal flaw on its face and whether you can act on that license tonight. Prior to getting this. Thank you.
Thank you. And doesn't look like anybody else is in the room, but you are welcome to speak if you wish, even though you're not signed up. Anybody? No? Anybody on Zoom that would like to speak? Okay, I guess that's all for public comment. All yours. If you want to take a look at your meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion for approval of the village board meeting.
Okay, all in favor?
Right.
Linda, are you there? She's muted.
She's been pulled over.
We have 5 votes. You agree with the minutes, Linda?
You're muted.
Okay, sorry.
Is that an aye?
Aye.
I'll make a motion to approve May 14, 2025 village board meeting. I'll second
All in favor?
that. Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, and the 16th? Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve May 16, 2025 village board meeting minutes. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, motion passes. Okay, new business, the zoning administrator report, Jeff Sanders. Jeff's not gonna be here tonight. I read through it. He had some information on court cases that, which is usually, he does. I gotta get through this. The downside of having the pages. If, did anybody have any questions on the 2 court cases that?
No. So he's trying to educate us.
Yeah. And he always adds a little bit more to it. Other than that, there's really nothing going on. So we'll move on to the Personnel, Finance, and Insurance Committee, trustee Lockdown.
All right, we have 2 things tonight, just to have presented to us, and Travis, we have Excel Engineering here.
Not yet, no.
Are they gonna come?
They said that they were planning on coming, yeah.
Should we?
She might,
Hi, this is Callie Ogie with Excel Engineering. I'm only able to call in tonight.
she's on.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
Can you hear me, everyone? I'm sorry.
we
Yeah.
can,
Okay.
so in looking at our CIP, which is just the CIP, and so I'll give some background. 3 years ago when I got on PFIC, we basically had a spreadsheet with roads on it and some things, but there was no long-term look at anything. No, how are we gonna pay for stuff down the road? So I thought it made sense to do a CIP. And so I gave that to the previous administrator, gave it to Scott, board got together and started working on it. Come on, some realistic number. What are we looking at? All right, so let me backtrack just a little bit. With regards to the roads, Scott, how many miles of roads do we have? About 11 and change?
Yeah, I think it's like 13 point
13.
something.
Okay, 13. So I did the math on that, and we're 50 years into, plus 60 years into some of our water. If hypothetically we kick the can down the road on that to hope it lasts 100 years, it would be great for everybody in the village, because, yeah, we wouldn't have any kind of financial impact. I understand it completely. I mean, I have to pay taxes too. The issue is if you don't stagger some of it, start staggering some of it, this hits, and everybody in the room won't be here, I'm guessing, 40 years. Unless they won't be. Not to be mean or anything like that, but Travis might be good. The rest of us.
Thank you.
No offense.
Scott will be here.
Scott will be here. The reality of that is that, what's it coming in, the roads, about $360 a linear foot in water, that's 20.
Yeah, I got,
$27 million.
Yeah.
That is scary number. Okay?
That's for water?
That's for just the water.
that's just for water.
Because 13 miles. 13 miles, take the number of feet, do the linear foot, and it was 27 million for the change, okay? It is a very scary number. We can just put our heads in the sand and not do anything, and someday they will get taken over, the water will get taken over, you'll get folded in the Caledonia most likely. And I'm not trying to scare you. The reality, we don't have 27 million now. And even the water rates, doing some of the things we're looking at are gonna go up, right? You know, and the reality of it is though, you gotta start doing something somewhere, okay? So you try to pick your worst places. 4 Mile Road, our previous administrator got us a grant for about $250,000.
Up to,
Up to
yes.
$250,000, which we will use. And the loop was done 22, 23 years ago. So we've just got to start to look at it. Now, again, the roads don't look horrible on the face of it, but Scott has educated me. You're looking at, if you wait too long, then the road bed starts to degrade and then the cost of doing the road goes up a lot more. Okay.
Correct.
So again, this is all just pieces, and it's good you're all here tonight, because, hey, you know, we need the feedback, we're out over our skis, you know, that helps us go, okay, let's do these pieces, what's the worst stuff? The reality of it is the people before us did a lot of great good, and being able to pay for stuff, things were a lot cheaper back then. You know, for example, now when we talk about the building, they did a study, give or take, what, 15 years ago, Travis? And it probably could have come in at what, $750,000.
That's 750,000.
$755,000. And yeah, if you looked at the package tonight, it's scary, right? It's 5 times that. 5 times that. Okay. Scott, you know, having been in a bunch of municipalities in his career, had an instance at White Hills Corners where somebody came in and couldn't use the building because it wasn't ADA compliant. State comes in and says, guess what? You fix it real quick. So, not trying to say that things as is are the way to go, but the reality of it is we're doing elections out of a garage. Because Prairie for years was great to us, but hey, you know, they decided we don't have elections. We gotta have some. The election board has come in how many times to give you recommendations or things that change?
Twice this year.
Twice this year. Okay. So the reality of it is,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
We can discuss after the meeting.
Yeah.
I want to hear.
Well, the reality.
No,
of it
no,
is-
it's not public record right now because it's not on the agenda. So you
Yeah.
have to come.
And I appreciate your real. So the reality is there's certain things we have to fix. And if we would have somebody come in and make a complaint, we might have to retrofit a building that would make no sense to retrofit. And it could be how much the Hills Corners spend on elevator. They didn't need the building. They didn't want it, you know,
It was a lot. It was a lot of money. It was a lot of ARPA money.
a lot of them. So anyway, so we gotta take a look at it. And then the police, if you pull somebody over, and again, this is talking about the building, so in my opinion, unless I'm wrong, we're still on the agenda. You guys, if you happen to have a DUI, you have to,
You're looking at it.
you're bringing them right here. Okay, so we don't have anything formal, it's this. A lot of your stuff could be at risk, you know. So again, we've started to think about all this stuff and we've put numbers to it. And we've only spent $15,000. And trust me, you know, we have a small little village, this is it. You know, and like you mentioned, you know, we do this part-time, you know, I'll be honest, until you get in year 2 or 3, you know, James has started, you don't really know what's going on. You have to go to enough meetings and see stuff over and over and hear stuff. Anyway, so we had, you know, Excel Engineering, you know, do sort of a plan of a building that would be not, we don't think overly big. It's got rooms for, you know, doing elections and meetings, and it's got the same office as they have, but in a new building. We're going to need a roof on that building and some other buildings. We've got the back wall has got some possible damage to it in the basement.
On the village hall, yes, or the village office, yes.
And so there's just little things that, you know, do we throw money into that? What if we're forced to throw money into it if somebody comes in and complains, all that. So we've had to look at it. You know, in a perfect world, and James heard me see this, because James comes every meeting, you know, I wish they would have built the building 15 years ago, it'd be almost paid off. And our taxes would have been $100 a house a year. Problem is, they didn't do it. You know, they were proud of themselves, I'm sure, in my opinion only, that they have never borrowed any money, they were able to do things out of the pocketbook, and that's great. But guess what? Things have gone exponentially since then. And COVID and inflation last year didn't help. So anyway, that's why this was on the agenda. We did not approve anything other than to have Excel Engineering come tonight and sort of justify, you know, hey, this would be the next step, because their next step is, and we'll have her explain it, is how they help us coordinate it. And in the meantime, Travis got with Riley Construction, and at no cost to the village at all, which is rare. Riley said, hey, we'll put together numbers gratis, just so you guys have something. So that's where we're at this point. Nobody's spent any money. Nobody's done anything. We're doing our due diligence so that we are more proactive. The board's always been living in the moment, slightly, in my opinion, my short time on here, reactive. We have, there was more concern for what the minutes look like than anything else the first year, 2004. And I could care less about the minutes. Doesn't matter. You know, you only have to report what was passed. So anyway, here's where we're at. Travis, can you have her sort of go through what you guys wanted to show us and help us with?
Kaylee, the floor is all yours. Go ahead. If you have anything to add about the contract in the packet and the next kind of steps, like Trustee Lupnow has said.
Sure. Yeah, so just double checking again that everyone can hear me okay.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. So thanks for inviting me tonight. I'm Callie Ogie with Excel Engineering. I'm out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and I'm an architect there. So I've been working with Travis and Scott and others at the village on some concepts for where to place the village hall and police department and DPW on their existing site. And so the concepts that you see and that have been budgeted from a preliminary standpoint are where we landed based on some site due diligence and just programming research and things like that. And so the concepts that you see are what we used, what Excel Engineering used to provide a architecture and engineering fee. And I believe that's what you have in front of you as well. So the architecture and engineering fee, we call it the AE fee, is for a lump sum of $249,240. And the details are in that document, but basically it is for Excel Engineering to fully design and engineer the building. And so with Excel Engineering being a firm with all disciplines in-house, we have all the structural engineers, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and so on. So that number that you see does include all of those design services. And for that, the deliverable would be a set of construction documents that would go to the state for review and permitting, basically, for construction. They would also be used for bidding purposes. And so the number that we are proposing is, so you have an idea of what it would cost to put together a set of drawings and include that in your overall project total cost. And so that's where we had worked with Riley Construction to have them take the schematic designs and put together a high level budget. So you can see what the overall project cost would be. And I think, is Riley Construction there tonight?
Not tonight, no.
Okay, but the numbers that they have put together, again, are the total project cost. And so that's so you can see, okay, this is the building that we would get. These are the spaces that would include. This is how it would serve you. And again, this is what the total project cost would be for construction. And that includes the items we talked about would be your construction costs and what we call soft costs. So items covered by the owner. So what we think furniture would cost, IT, equipment within the building. And again, I guess I just want to reiterate the level of work that we've done right now is just at the schematic level, but what we're trying to do is present a total project cost to you that includes the design, engineering, and construction and owner costs.
What, can you explain what the schematic level is for me, please?
The schematic? Yeah, so that's the first phase of design, and we worked to get to that level. We've worked with the village and DPW to put together a design based on the wants and needs. that we've discussed with them. So how many offices, what size the village boardroom should be, toilet room counts, et cetera. And that's to give us a good idea, a general idea of what the building needs to be square footage wise, the construction type of the building, based on square footage, what we can do that's most economical, the aesthetics of the building. And so the schematic design.
Sorry, is this the way you guys?
What was that?
Is this the way that the process?
Yes.
Or-
Yes, this is exactly, yep, this is the process that we typically follow. And I did forget to mention that it starts with programming, and that's us sitting down and determining the wants and needs of spaces that need to be in the building. Like I mentioned, number of offices, the size, boardroom, things like that. And so we've landed at the.
Is the overall cost included? Is the overall cost?
I'm sorry.
Is the overall cost of the project included during the schematic phase, or is this just
No, well, we really have to get through the schematic design phase. So we have a design on paper for a construction company to bid. So, and I just want to say too, because what we're showing at the schematic level right now, what we're showing doesn't.
I'm sorry. So people don't just like have a projected budget of, how much they think they have to spend. So I guess I'm just asking, like, if I were to approach it, I would think like, this is about how much we have as a village ballpark that we would want to spend. What can we do for X versus this is everything we need, how much will it cost? But that's not how the process, I'm sorry, this is my first board meeting, so I'm just trying to understand how the process works.
Doing great.
The question, I think, has to do with whether it's top down or bottom up.
That's exactly right.
And so top down would be great if you had perfect information and you were knowledgeable and could come up with that number because of your extensive experience.
Well,
unfortunately, I don't have that. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, you're right. No, exactly right. But
and so it's
I guess,
a bottom up approach.
Yeah, right. But from an engineering standpoint, right? Like, I would expect an engineer being firm, not knowing anything, to have an estimate of like, if they want to keep it to $700,000, $1 million, ballpark, 2 million, right? Like, I think the number in here is 3.5 million. I would think an engineering firm that is capable should have like a ballpark idea of like, hey, this is going to cost about X if we do X, Y, and Z. I understand that it wouldn't be like bullseye, but I think you should be able to hit the dartboard. Like, that's just my assumption. I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The other side of it, and like Kurt said, sort of the bottom up is if we do build a building and it's realistic for having meetings, community events, because we really try to use this space or outside.
Yeah, sure.
Having everybody have the same offices they sort of have now, bring in the police department, bring in space for the vehicles that are not being outside. So again, you can try to cut some things. The reality is what it sounds like. Even if we cut this thing down, it's still not going to be cheap, and so that's sort of where it went, having an IT room, having room for files, because we have files in a basement right now that wall gives, and I'm getting worst case, I'm not trying to scare you. We have hard files for all kinds of things.
Dating back to since the village is a village, you can't get rid of any single thing compared to state law, public records.
No, I guess maybe that's not.
You can, cost a lot of money.
Yeah,
We don't have printers to scan it and all that.
So what happened was at PFIC level, we approved $15,550 to at least have them talk with every staff member. Scott's been in this business 30 years. Monica's been with the village, and as I joke, most of our bodies are buried for the last 8. Just everything about everything. Tommy, having been on staff and now being our police chief, knows the needs there. And Travis, obviously, with compliance and IT, our IT is a mess until we switched. He got us a class in IT and different things like that. So I'm not trying to justify anything, and you're not wrong. I mean, you could sit there and say, "Hey, they build houses nowadays for $750 million."
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
I guess, and that's why at PFIC level we asked And Travis beat us to it from the standpoint of, of bringing Riley in to at least price out that schematic for free, which is, you're right, it's a scary number. So I guess all we could say, and that's why I had Kaylee wanted to sort of come in and say, Kaylee, what are we missing? What can we do? I know you've helped build the one in Kewaskum. Now Kewaskum's a little over double the size as far as population,
Yeah.
at about 4,000.
Yeah.
1,600 and change. So what did that look like? Again, educating all of us here in the room. And that was like bringing it to board level.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to add a few things, and I'm not sure if I quite heard everything, but I just want to clarify that. So we're at the schematic level now. The next levels or the next phases of design are design development and construction documents. And so the schematic designs include our preliminary research. As we get into design development, we're going to sit down with all the user groups and walk through the floor plan, make tweaks, add the details, provide the proper electrical, et cetera. And just because what we're showing at the schematic level doesn't mean that's how the floor plan has to be. We definitely want to get input from as many people as we can, but to get to a starting point, we had to use what we've experienced in the past, the information we did gather, to create those schematic designs. And with having Riley come in, or a construction manager, that construction manager, our preference is to work with them throughout the design development and construction document phases. And so we can start to target budgets that we need to meet. There's always ways to save money, different products to look at and things like that. So we've got a great deal of knowledge from past projects, but again, having a contractor in the room as a construction manager really helps to stay on budget for one, and also if the schedule becomes something that is compressed, and if there's target dates that we want to meet, they also have good input on helping us to achieve that, versus going a different route for working with a contractor. So I think this is all good conversation. I just want you to know there's different levels, there's different phases of design, and there's definitely a lot more conversation, research, and input information that we need to gather to produce the final set of plans.
Is it realistic that we can build a building for under $2 million? I'm just throwing that number out to sort of have the number. I mean, you're in this business, you deal with municipalities, from understand not just Kewaskum and a few others.
Yeah, really, I mean, I think 2 is going to be tough for the amount of square footage that you have, that we have in total. I think there's ways that I think we could work through some of the constructability and save some costs there. The big item would be taking out square footage. So taking a really close look and say, what do we need right now? The thing with that is, and the thing that we did at Kewaskum too, is what are the needs going to be in the next 10 years, 20 years, and so on, because we can design a building that can be added on to easily. So that's one thing that we can do. You do have the space on site to do that. Kewaskum doesn't necessarily have all that, so we had to be more creative with spaces inside the footprint that we wanted to maximize. So having a target number, we can definitely get creative to try to meet that. But what we have proposed right now, just saying, hey, let's pull over $1 million out of that I think to me is going to be tough. We'd have to take a close look at a few things.
So we couldn't necessarily maybe bring the police in house and have them be properly dealing with suspects and things like that. And how long should a building like this last? Can a village expect to get 50 to 100 years out of it, or 40? Again,
yeah, so we've got wood. Yeah, so this is wood frame construction. I would anticipate at least 50 years out of it. So this construction type is like I said, wood frame with LP siding. It's what we use quite a bit on several commercial buildings. So it's not like we're putting up a standard house or something that, you know, we may not get the 50-year out of it. That's obviously working with a municipality and a municipal building. It's something that we understand is important. So I would say with a wood frame, at least 50 years out of this building.
So with understanding our fiscal constraints, and again, that's why we invited you tonight, and with what Riley has already put on paper, do we have enough that you could work with village staff and committees to see about cutting where we needed to cut and still produce a productive building? And with saying that, I know you don't come for free, but not enter into the remaining of the 249,000, meaning you propose some kind of a hourly fee or sort of similar to the 15,000, where we're not going all in on this, you know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we could. Yep, definitely. Yeah, I would be happy to work with you on that. Yeah, and really, I did the same with. I did something very similar with Kewaskum. Is, you know, we had in that case the project was budgeted. We still had to cut a couple $100,000, and so we took a look at some of the exterior finishes and the level of finish in each room, and we're able to pull that number down. So yeah, this process definitely isn't uncommon.
But Kelly, I think one of the questions is, can we bill by phase rather than have an agreement that goes all the way to conclusion, which is a total of 250, and we've already.
Yep. So, if we want to do like another round at, I'll call it the schematic level, I can break that out. And then also I mentioned another phase of design is design development. That's a big chunk in there, and then construction documents, and then lastly construction administration, and that's our services on site during construction. And so that I could break all those numbers out if you wish, and then you can bite it off as you need. Instead of just seeing the. What was that?
That would be wonderful. That'd be great, and that's what I was looking to get out of your presentation tonight, and letting the board understand. And our citizens understand.
Under this proposal,
actually have that broken down a little bit more.
Right, yeah. But I guess the concept that I was looking for was that rather, I don't know if this is a proposal if we agree to it. I'm not saying we are tonight.
No, we haven't even voted on it.
Right, okay, but just for example.
Sure.
Can we not have them break out each of these phases as individual agreements, not one master agreement?
Kaylee, that's up to you. I mean, what she just said, if I hope I heard you right, Kaylee, is we could do sort of advanced schematic now before we even get into those other three, which are the more expensive. And so yes.
It sounds like we want to revise the schematic just to get closer to your budget. But the other thing I wanted to tell you with too is if we enter an agreement, we only bill you for the work that we do that month. It's not like you sign the agreement and now you have to write us a check. We understand that the process, especially with board meetings and approvals, might take a bit. So if we're doing a week's worth of work 1 month, you're going to get billed for a week's worth of work. And then once we do enter design development and CDs, we're going to be spending quite a bit of time on your project. So as the project develops, it'll be light. Your billing will be light in the beginning, pretty heavy as we work toward creating that construction document set. And as it tapers off into construction, the billing will be very light again. So we bill you for the time spent on the project per month. Not, if this is a number, you have to divide it by this and pay accordingly.
I get all that. I'm very simplistic and I'm kind of confused. If we decided to, we've already, I don't know if we've spent all the schematic money, have we? Yes or no?
I believe you have. I don't have the billings in front of me, but I believe we're there or just about there.
And so we haven't even, I don't know if we're going to get a chance to look at what you've prepared from that standpoint. I actually like to see it, but And then I guess the next part of that is, okay, if we need to do an extended one, because we want to modify or we want to look at other options. Can we not agree to the next amount and that's locked in? If you agree to this whole agreement, is the whole amount locked in? Or are you saying, well, if you never finish it, if you stop at the design phase, then
it's done. No, you don't have to pay us for our services that we don't deliver on.
I would say to your point, Herb, I have no desire to go to 2, 3, and 4 until we've accomplished it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree.
And to your point of what did we get? We got the plans,
Yeah,
the specs.
I know.
So there's nothing else.
Fantastic.
No offense, don't take my word. That just comes to my mind. No, but nothing else
I've seen
done other than that. I did ask, just for everybody here, I did ask Riley Construction because Kaylee, we didn't invite her. I don't think she couldn't make it to the committee meeting for PFIC. I asked about their fees, Excel's fees. I said, how are they reasonable? Have you worked with them? And they said as a percentage of the way they price on the project, their fees are very reasonable. So just so everybody knows, from start to finish, what they bring to the table, following up, making sure things are getting done the right way.
what we do need to do if we're gonna go forward is have an organization like Excel
Correct.
quarterbacking.
And that's what they'll.
And you don't wanna change
That's what they'll
horses
be
in the
doing.
middle
Yeah.
of the, yeah.
But this is, so Kaylee, let me ask you a question. How many municipalities have had to build buildings because their current buildings are out of compliance? Is that one of the driving factors? Yes or no?
It's just a lot of deterioration, and the accessibility in older buildings is always an issue for sure. Buildings of all types are changing constantly for accessibility requirements, and buildings that were built 50 years ago just did not have to follow the same requirements as we do now. So that is definitely one of the number one reasons buildings do renovations, additions, or completely new builds is accessibility.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to head out to another meeting right now. So if there's any other last minute questions, I'll take them. Others, I'll have to head out.
No problem, thank you. So that's what,
I think we're good. Thank
so
you.
that's what people
Okay.
decided. We just
Thank
decided
you.
to bring it to the full board level and have Travis bring Kaylee on tonight and to ask the questions that everybody wants to ask. So this is gonna be a lot more. So probably what'll happen now is we'll make sure, and I know Travis will because he's great, follow up with Kaylee to have maybe a little more detail on further looking at schematics on possibly paring it down and getting it to a number. And then, we'll have to decide. We maybe just might have to have full board meeting that the only thing on the agenda is this. And we pour through the numbers and we pour through the designs and we carve up what we can carve up, or we have to choke down the realities of what we need in a building, if I know who just recently went on a drive along with Chief, and you guys, did you apprehend somebody or bring somebody back?
No. Well, the two other officers on a grant took somebody into custody, but we brought back the narcotics and he got to view the testing.
And so, without talking in the specific case, because I don't know anything other than that to myself, I think it was an eye opener for our village administrator to find out the hoops that the police have to jump through and make sure things are done properly in different buildings, or whether it be a drug test for evidence and things like that. So there's a little bit more than just us going out and spending money. I get it. The reality of it is we can kick this can down the road. Hey, trust me, I could make a case, I don't care. I don't, but I got on this board because my neighbor used to be the president. And he said, hey, Rob, would you run? And I said, everybody's stepped up to the plate. I'll step up to the plate. If we push it down another 20, 30, 40 years, this village will probably look at dollar amounts and go, first of all, PSC won't let us raise the water rates that much. We kick that can all the way down the road. And I don't know what'll happen to our water utility. They'll probably force it into a senior account. And again, I'm not trying to be scary, that's reality. I told you 27 million on the linear foot. That's not going down in price. That's today's pricing. And just everything else that has to go into it. That's why sometimes people get in. Go ahead, Charlie.
A couple things. So, first of all, ADA's been around for 35 years. I get that, we have to comply with that. But my thoughts are, do we need 9,300 square feet to, what I'm looking at is a meeting room and 6 full-time employees with $250,000 in HVAC. That seems extraordinarily expensive. And $4 million, look, at the end of the day, we're a $1.3 million company. Now.
Closer to 2, but I get it.
Yeah, well,
I get it. No, yeah.
well, what's the tax levy? It's 1.1, right?
Yeah, that part of it.
Yeah, and shared revenue is what?
Basically, the other one. Right, not all of it.
Well, it's 250 last year, I think.
Shared revenue from the state, the governmental aid is like that much, but shared revenue is only like 80,000.
I guess my point is,
Yeah, Jim.
my point is, in most of my life, I'm somewhere between self-employed and a couple of employees. It's $1.5 million company. Well, I worked out of the basement for decades. And I'm not saying that you should run out, we should run out of the basement, but I think $4 million is a lot of money for 6 employees in a meeting room. Now, the confirmation to ADA, I think it's critical, right?
Where are we gonna hold our elections? In that garage all the time? I mean, we've been doing it. so
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
What are you looking for ADA? Right? You're looking for a meeting room with access and a bathroom,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty much gets you there. And you'd have to do a lot of convincing for me to spend $4 million for
I
it.
get it, and that's why we brought it for feedback, and I get Jim's on.
You got my feedback,
That's fine.
straight and clear.
That's fine.
I just think it's too much money.
What would solve the problem, from the standpoint of the building deteriorating? The garage is gonna deteriorate at some point in time.
Oh, yeah, the garage is gonna deteriorate at some point in time, everything's gonna, I get it, deteriorate.
Okay.
But if somebody says sagging joints, I say,
Do we know? Oh, sorry.
I say lollipops, that'll hold it up. Sister in New Choice and throw in some lollipops. Document storage, yeah, that's very important. But can't we build a couple thousand square feet for $500,000?
That was the question. Yeah, so if you're trying to build a residential property, a little bit different, corridor you're looking at $500,000, for 2,000 square feet all day long.
Well, what's
Do we know how many square feet? Do we know how many square feet we have
That's
now?
going up.
Sure, I can provide that. We're just shy of 5,500, including the space here we use, the space for the PD, the basement, the garage, and everything else in the building.
So 5,000 square feet.
5,500.
Okay. So just to make it apples to apples, we think a lot of us are much more adept than houses, right, residential, we're not in commercial space, all this. So 5,000 square feet would be roughly like a 3,500 square foot range for the basement, because they don't count the basement, right? Ballpark, so they will, when you look at a square foot of the house, they only count above
The
grade.
realtors started in the last 15-20 years
Yeah,
counting if
yeah.
the basement is finished.
Fair, I mean,
You gotta-
historically, right?
Yeah.
So historically, you're talking about a 3,500 square foot, and I guess that is kind of how I thought of it, I was looking at 5,000 square feet, so when I saw, 10,000 or close to it, it just seemed like a lot, and then, I get that to get like the commercial finishes, right, it's probably whatever, it's a multiple, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I agree, we definitely, it seems like kicking it down the road doesn't solve anyone's problems, it's just, you're delaying the inevitable,
I'm not
right?
bent on spending $4.5 million,
Yeah,
because
right.
again, we were thinking when we first put in CIP, and Jane knows because Jane's following along, we put in $3 million, then we figured that was a good guess. Guess what? It came out more. The reality of it is I get sick every time I think about talking about this, because
But it was,
like I said, we had to start this thing could have been 15 years.
I had to vomit before I came in.
I'm not part of it, so, anyway.
I just don't think this is realistic for the size of our.
Are the, Travis?
Could I so the building is $3.2 million. But you look at all the contingency the wetland delineation, the escalation, the liability insurance, the construction management, the performance bond. That's not a building. That's not a building. That's your add-on cost to get the building to the finish line. So we're at 3.2, but we can't forecast what construction management insurance is going to be, how much Riley is going to cost us. I don't have a crystal ball to look
Am I
into.
on page 14 of 14?
4 out of 14 breaks down the construction divisional estimate.
Well, page 14 of 14. states
31.
$3,926,499. And guess what? In my book, that's $4 million all day long.
I think that includes that part with the insurance and all the contingencies. And it includes the driveway, which they said we didn't know if they were gonna have to do that, right?
I think it was redo. They would have to do the parking lot and the driveway back there. It was whether or not the initial current driveway would have to be
Right, but I
addressed.
thought they included.
They included that part because
$700,000 right there.
That was extra.
they said they weren't sure if they needed that because
That was separate.
they didn't know if we wanted to do DPW and Village Hall together. And so they said they put that whole price for the road in there, and that because phase 2 is later down the road, you don't have to worry about that now. There might be some stuff we can extend from the current building into the utilities now. The stretch was going to be from DPW to the current utility.
So we're not trying to solve this tonight. We wanted to bring it here. What I would tell everybody on the board is, if there's the interest at your level, and everybody can do, is look at it and cut it down. We still say, hey, don't do it. In that 9,000 square feet are, if I remember correctly, 2 bays for the police cars. You know, they sit outside all the time. I'm not a policeman, so I don't know, but I'm sure, you know, that's part of it.
We've had to replace $3,000 computers because they have to sit outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so it's protecting our investments. All
Weapons, etc. are
So, again, the reason why this is all up for debate is, and it's my fault, I'll take it, because I thought it was a poor CIP. It wasn't even a CIP. We never even talked about the CIP till I brought it up. It was just normal budgeting stuff. But our CIP.
Capital improvement plan.
We
Yeah.
had none.
And so, yes, when you see all this, you add it up, your eyes roll back in your head and you go.
But it's
"Where are my
reality."
taxes going?" But yeah, and I say this, and maybe some of you have been here, some of you haven't. If you took my house, which is 2,800 square feet, blah, 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 2-story, and moved it into Caledonia, my taxes would be probably close to $7,000. It would have been for the last, how many years has it gone up? And I paid $5,200 for that trailer.
In the Wind Point area, the state of Wisconsin penalizes the youth because your property tax bill is too low, according to the state legislature. So you don't get to participate in the expenditure restraint program that allows you to get additional benefits. They say you're too low of a mill rate and you can't qualify for it. So municipalities all over are above $5 usually to be able to get that extra revenue attached. Projected by Elders, your revenue for your mill rate will go down to $3.03 next year due to the full revaluation. So it's one of the
That's
cheapest.
good. Yeah, but the problem is, if you looked at the budget, we can only raise, because of the state constraints, we only raised $1,200. And I get it, they wanted to make sure municipalities didn't go crazy, you know, on things, but I don't know, I mean.
Well, on the flip,
Go ahead.
just on the flip side, I understand and respect Charlie's comments. But from the contrary point of view is, I think it's high time that we get into the 21st century, that we recognize we need to have the facilities that will accommodate the growth that is going to happen in the community and with needs, and be able to support that without having to be in on the needs of the
Big
community.
condos?
No, just the needs of the community.
I think you
servicing the
misspoke.
needs.
Part. I think you get ahead of some of this rather
Yeah. Those don't go away. There's always more stuff that is required or wanted and needs to be provided. More branch pickups, anything like that.
I'll be absolutely clear. Yeah, we gotta do something about ADA. because it's been around for, well, by the time this project gets done, it'll be half a century, really. And so that's important. I don't know, if you were gonna arrest me tonight, where would you take me? I wanna know that, I don't know that.
Racine County Jail.
But
What's that cost me a night?
There is actually a rate. I'm not sure what it is. It'd be a fair. You have a $35 booking fee and whatever your bond amount is.
Well, you're not building a jail here, right?
No, no. But if there's any questions that are directed as far as the police.
I'm curious, I wanna ask about the whole police thing.
Sure.
What don't you have that you really need?
So-
Just out of curiosity.
That's why I find it very funny when people say that there's only a certain amount of full-time employees. I have 13 employees, part-time. And that assists with not having members go into Wisconsin retirement system, which then causes more money from the village and its taxpayers. The current setup of the police department with the tremendous amount of requirements, everything from the servers, from the federal government that comes down because we have sensitive police equipment, sensitive police computers with access, the overhaul that's going on right now, and just that is the amount of time that I have to deal with that currently right now with this, it's called a CJIS audit, about everything from the placement of a computer in a squad car to how we are secured within this room. CJIS. It's the acronym I don't want to, there's so many acronyms I can throw at you, but it's essentially what governs the safety, security, and oversight of our IT services, of our name checks, our databases, our body cam footage, our evidence, etc. But we're living out of a room, you know, in a basement. So that's why it's funny. We all share this. I don't have a chief's office. I don't have, you know, anything like that. Or we all share the same, literally the same chair. So as the needs and the wants of the community come to us, as far as you know, when we talk about capital improvement plan, we talk about the protection of the equipment in the squad car. We have one bay where you can't fit the squad car in, and then you can barely squeeze by from an officer. We have had equipment that have failed because of weather, cold weather, cracks the screens and all of our stuff. Our evidence is secured within the basement. Our lighthouse caretakers complain all the time that they can smell marijuana. There's nothing that we can do. Evidence is supposed to be, by state law and by common practice, secured within paper bags. Paper bags allow it to not have any condensation, moisture, because we have to sometimes send that off to the crime lab. We can't damage the evidence. Same thing as Travis's problem with the open records. We can't get rid of body cam footage. We can't get rid of dash cam footage. We have to continuously have a secure place for that. For the longest time, there was a closet door that separated people from our community here engaging in sometimes boisterous behavior if they're just enjoying their time. But I can't tell you how many times that somebody would jiggle on that door, or sometimes it would actually open. So we had to do another door. So we have 2 wooden doors that are securing our police department.
And that's the only thing keeping us away from that marijuana?
Well, criminal charges, I would say, but but yeah, there's so many things that I could go into as far as we're living out of a closet. We have to be compliant. We have gone to the point where I keep using the analogy of paper mache. We are paper macheing this police department as best we can.
Band-Aid.
It's Band-Aid to a gushing wound. And we want to have something that's secure, something that offers the ability to, you know, I get where we're at and I understand, but we have caretakers. We sometimes, it's like having an upstairs neighbor in an apartment where I can't have an interview or talk to somebody because they're living their lives upstairs, which they should be able to, right? So, I mean, we can go into this for hours.
They would hear you.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I appreciate the answer.
Yeah.
Question, I'd like to ask the same question to Scott. What don't you have that you should have?
Yeah, where do you do your work when you're doing grants and things like that? Because you don't have an office.
Oh,
No,
nice.
I'm talking about the DPW in general, what should you have that you don't have now?
Well, I mean, as far as like equipment, we just don't have space. That's what we don't have.
In order to provide anything to do any kind of services for the village, we don't have space, so that's why half of our stuff's sitting outside. Which, you know, if that's what they choose, that's what you choose, that's fine, I'll deal with it, it is what it is. But
Fire protection, you know, the firewall.
oh yeah, that's one thing we don't have fire protection.
Or
So, you know, with the newer technology, and I've read some stories, and I'm not saying it's gonna happen tomorrow, but I've read stories with all these new electronics in the vehicles, they do tend to start on fire, so they require them with battery cutoff switches and stuff like that. But if something did start on fire in the building, it's done. Every dollar of your equipment that you own for the DPW is gone.
Is there not a good insurance? I'm asking.
That doesn't help us though. I mean, to replace everything we have would take forever, and you know, that we wouldn't be able to plow streets, we wouldn't be able to do stuff.
You wouldn't be able to stagger the equipment, everything would be cost at one
It
time.
would be tough to replace and get it all back in time to function as a DPW, but there's a lot of facilities that don't have fire protection too, so we're not the only ones.
So we're not gonna solve this tonight. This is why I wanted to bring it, you know, mindful of everybody's personal lives, including our residents, but we will take this back to Excel, have them get us updated on taking a look at what the cost would be to take a look at carving and things like that and see what we can do and try to come back with something better. I still think we need a professional place for our citizens to vote. I think we need to have our police department in-house. What everybody is forgetting, I'm not saying you're forgetting, bad choice of words, I apologize. I'll say it's me. This is a one and done building. Everybody's under one house. I mean, Caledonia just built over here, and if I remember, because that's not their village hall. And Riley told us that was $16.5 million. No, they're not bigger enough. I get it.
But that was just their public safety.
That was just their public safety.
That's just, yeah.
Well, they have the public safety building right next to it.
And that's what they.
Those were both done in the last few
But
years.
remember, he said in our meeting, the latest building was 16.5, and it was not the village hall.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
that's the only point I
The
wanted
new
to
one
make.
with the road that comes out.
Yeah, so
Right.
that's the only point I wanted to
Yeah,
make. And I said, well, what was the village hall? And I can't remember. Do you know what the village hall is?
Correct.
Trustee Johnson has a question.
Trustee Johnson, go right ahead. I see your hand up. Yeah, thanks.
I actually have a statement. First of all, I want to thank everybody that's worked on this thus far. I just really think we need to have something for the village that accommodates their needs. And I think we really fall short in a lot of different ways. And I think this would probably solve a lot of our issues. But before we spend a penny on any of that, I'm going to ask that we look at new microphones because I can barely hear a word any of you are saying.
And we're not much better with what you just said. Luckily, it's quiet.
Lovely.
Almost all of it.
We got to do something different here.
Right. So that's where we're at. Everybody's got a chance, and everybody has a chance to reach out to me anytime they want with ideas. Hey, you know, again, we're just like most villages, we're part-time, we come in as needed. I stop by when not needed. I know other trustees stop by when not needed. Just how you doing? What's going on? Do you need anything? And the sad thing is we can't help anyone do their job. So all we could do is go in and possibly learn. And a lot of times, because they're great people, the three gentlemen and Monica and all the staff, all the officers, sometimes it's not that they keep anything from us, but they're busy doing their job and they don't have time to talk, and they're handling it until it needs to get to our level. So anyway, Travis and I will work on that with Excel, see what it will be. I'm sure it'll be a couple extra grand. Trust me, it's not like I think it's any, like we should throw money down the drain, but if it saves us part of the bigger number, then again, that's why I wanted to bring this tonight. And everybody who has an opinion or an idea, I'm happy to hear it. If there's a way you think we can cut it down, but again, reminder what I just said a couple minutes ago, this is a multi-departmental building. This isn't a village hall. This is acting as all in, okay? So.
And I didn't really get a chance to thank you for all the effort that you put into it, but you have in putting together the CIP. And no, I want to say it because I really appreciate. I've been here for 2 years now, and I volunteered for the first 9 months, and then I was elected. And I did it. I've lived in the village for 40 years. And we're in the position we're in because people just kick the can. Okay, and what I want to say is that has to stop. And you've been very integral to bringing these things forward, and I appreciate it. And I wanna
But
say
they did all.
I understand, I've already met with them.
I got you. They did all.
I'm thanking you.
No problem. No problem.
And I also don't know that this is even a robust enough plan for the future. And so I think
It's a start.
we can whittle it away and wind up really not solving or addressing the future. And the reason I got involved in this, and this is why I wanted to talk,
Yeah.
is for the future.
Yeah.
It's not to say a penny today. I'm fiscally responsible. Everything we've done has been fiscally responsible and will be, but the reality that we live in today is not what I came here 40 years ago.
And what you said is how I feel, you know, they've done a great job going as cheaply as they could. The reality of it is.
We're in a lot of trouble,
actually. No, they kicked the can down to this board. This is the first board that's finally said, we're willing to take it on and take whatever comes our way and deal with it. And have adult conversations and take the feedback. The reality of it is, we might also be the first board, and hey, if I lose my job next April, it is what it is. But that might say, hey, we gotta work on a couple of these things, and then if anybody wants to replace me, feel free, but I expect you to do what everybody else does up here. And that is not be a one issue candidate and come in and work for the betterment of everybody, not just over one thing, get your road in front of your house, or a tree, or a storm, no offense, you know, just, there's a lot more to it, and like I said, I didn't learn anything I needed to tell the last year. It was all, whoa, and we didn't have administrators. Now we've got a darn good administrator. 24 years old. You run circles around me at 24. Running this place. I did my job real well at 24, but I couldn't run a village.
Bottom line, we have to make sure that we provide the services necessary to keep this village going. And that we should keep that thought in mind.
And the only other thing I occasionally get a feeling from people who've been out here even longer than me is it's almost like it has a feeling of a country club. Like, I've been out here so long and this is the way it's always been, and I'm like the top member and we can't do that. Or we should do that, and you get that tree out of my yard, and those maybe not.
Definitely a quality.
Has to get overridden by everything that might have to get done properly. We're the first people willing to take it on. We're gonna do it all. We're not that.
We're tight with the money, the tax revenue comes in.
Yeah, so it's more.
Taxes are going up.
And I know Jane said she's been a different man on this. Last thing I'll say, then we're going on from my committee. But, you know, I remember saying, and I won't say the person's name, but I said, hey, why can't the state help us out since we're a closed-in committee with no ability to grow our way out of it, right? Can't raise any other revenue. And that person, that unnamed person said, well, I guess you have to borrow. And my heart sunk. It was almost like when my high school teacher, I said, hey, that's not fair to Mr. O'Brien. He goes, well, it's not fair. First time somebody ever smacked me in the face like that. That's how I felt. Yeah, so the reality of it is, we're gonna have to do some of this. We're gonna have to borrow some money. And our taxes are gonna go. So are mine. We'll do the best we can. But I'm done.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next?
You'll have to take action on A and B by either postponing or moving it.
All right,
to
I'll make a
committee.
motion that we postpone items A and B and refer them back to staff and PFIC to work with Excel Engineering on other possible engineering options.
Kermit, can you second that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstaining? Motion
Do
passes.
we get Linda in
I think she said aye.
there? All right.
I
Thanks,
think,
everybody. Appreciate it.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to at least discuss what the Riley construction proposal was. That was only to give us a ballpark.
Exactly.
We had no contract with them whatsoever.
And thank God they did it for free. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
imagine the amount of hours that you gotta put in pricing
Yeah.
that out. I mean, I know they know their job, so you can say, hey, they got spreadsheets, but
Yeah.
I have to guess they put a
And I
day or two solid work. in there.
Probably gathered from when Kelly was talking that it's just a ballpark. Anyways.
And we would probably take that out to bid anyway.
Oh, yeah. it
Correct,
definitely is.
correct. Yeah, this was
They
just
would be
a,
a candidate of.
Yeah, they
several
could bid on
openings.
it, but it'd have to go over RFP and all that. Okay, moving on to Parks, Recreation, Lighthouse and Facilities Committee. Trustee Johnson.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, the committee has been working for about a year on getting lighthouse quotes, and everything should be given to Travis for working with multiple painters and restoration companies, and finally narrowing it down. Our committee has come with two proposals. One from masonry restoration, which should be in your packet with everything that needs to be done. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review those. The quote for the masonry restoration came in at $58,925. After that, we have a proposal for painting from Blair Contracting and RM. That'll be in your packets as well. They go through exactly what needs to be done as well, type of paint they're going to be using, all the specs for the paint, and their final quote for painting is $41,000. So we are looking for a motion to approve both proposals.
Okay, do you understand?
So, do you want to go through it or do you want me to go through it?
No.
Linda.
A motion for the masonry work with masonry restoration.
Let me roll back. In PFIC, okay, this is already a budget paint and job.
Right.
For $145,000. Technically, we don't need to bring this to the board at all.
No, we don't.
This came to PFIC. PFIC approved the brickwork at $58,000 to change.
Right.
We approved Blair painting because in the homework that staff did, in the two painting bids they got down, which are very similar, with a couple $1,000, give or take 41,000. Just the thoroughness of the bid, the conversations and everything, staff was more comfortable with Blair. And for basically being right on top of each other, we approved the Blair bid. What we were very impressed with was the brick. You can't paint on something that's not good anymore, and so getting that fixed. So it came in at 100,000, give or take right at $100,000. Again, we had 145. Luckily, and again, here's where I like, and it might sound like I keep saying this, but staff has had conversations, all of our staff has had conversations with people in the community who have been willing to donate money. I know Scott's been on that with certain things, and signs, and I know Travis and Scott have been with the same thing in the painting. So we have a donation that will cover, as it turns out, the bid we have for the stonework or the brickwork and the paint. So that's gonna free up about, give or take, if there's some additional work that comes in, because again, there's gonna be some changes and some extra things in this lighthouse we don't know about. But that's gonna save us $145,000. We also sold diesel this year, and that we netted about $154,000. You add those together, we're about $300,000 to the good side, and $100,000 because of the donation and the cost. So anyway, Linda, I know I hijacked it just because you're breaking up a little bit, but I wanted to let everybody.
No, it's fine.
Are you okay? I'm sorry if I offended you. I didn't mean to.
Not at all. Thank you.
He likes to talk.
I like to explain things.
Yeah, no, that's good. Well, and you have both the tests and on there, but we, and PFIC and the parks, we agree on the same vendors.
Technically, we do not need a motion on this.
Well, we do have two vendors for the painting, but
So
the recommendation from both committees was Blair.
Over this heist, right?
whenever we have, even though it's in the budget, whenever we have something this expensive, when staff brings it up and they brought it up to me, hey, should we have you folks look at it? We're definitely going to be another set of eyes. That's the reason why it's here tonight.
Where is the lower
We're
cost?
technically, they can go out with their, if we didn't care as a thing and they didn't care, and they could get anybody to pay it $40,000, not know anything, do any homework about the brickwork and everything else, and now we got a problem in 5 years. So hopefully it's gonna last 10 to 12.
and that's where we're at. So I'm gonna make a motion out of then the two committees that already made the motions that we approve, the brickwork and Travis, I'm opening this back up. The company on the brickwork is
Masonry restoration.
Masonry restoration to the restoration work. According to the bid in our packet, and Blair Commercial Painting LLC to do the painting once the brickwork's done for the approximately $41,000.
I'll second that motion.
Is there time for some discussion still?
Yeah, this would be the time for
I just wanted to make the point that Blair is the lower cost of the two painting estimates. They have a $4,000 landscape repair allowance that's in the 41,000. So the painting bids are essentially the same. Blair was 37,000, and the HS, who we are not recommending, was 38,900 or 39,000.
And I think
small point, but I wanted to make it.
And that's a good point, and that's the reason why staff appreciated and brought to us, to our knowledge, the realities of the quality and thoroughness of the bid, and even thinking ahead that possibly there being some damage to the foliage around in this rotary road. So
The other clear point of this is Masonry Restoration and Blair have worked together on a number of occasions. They're tight, right?
The other one.
It's the other
It was
one.
the other one.
It's the other one. So we actually didn't choose the two companies that knew each other, because again, we were a little more comfortable with.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly the opposite.
They said it's not common for them to not work together, so, but they just came together. So I've asked before this all went down, to Tony, and he goes, no, I don't care who I work with, because I don't work with them directly. They just pick up where I've left it, and then
Yeah.
they go through and do their
He
work.
does his work, and then whoever comes in and paints.
So they're gonna tuck on to them.
Yeah. And repair if bricks is needed.
So I do have one question. I don't know, I mean, and neither one of these quotes had. Linda?
I can barely hear you. Go on.
We just took the vote. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes. Okay.
Elton,
Yes, ma'am.
before you go on, can I say one more thing for Park and Rec? I
Yes.
just want to very quickly say that the village held its first pickleball tournament last weekend, which was a huge success. Perhaps not financially, we did bring in a little over $1,000, but we had 48 participants that all were thrilled to be able to play at Village Green for a well-run tournament. So that's all.
Did I hear a rumor that they might be doing one in the fall?
Well, we're going to talk about it at our next meeting.
Oh, okay, so hopefully you didn't give away any surprises. All right, thank you. Community and Community Relations Committee, trustee Manning. That'd be you.
Would be me. I'm totally unprepared.
You were on the agenda.
Yes. I forgot I had responsibilities. Let me get caught up. Oh. You know, it's all come back to me now. We had taken a vote for the, a vote for the community, what we call Citizen of the Year Award. And I think we should take action on that. It was Sherry Hess. And then we also had a review of, what we call that, Organization of the Year Award for the Village of Lynn Point. And that was the Johnson Foundation, Waynesburg. And so.
You know, it's a public meeting, so it's not gonna be a surprise. They're watching.
They don't know yet.
Well, I know.
They're not, well, keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
That's the best I could hope.
So was it the organization of toss up between the Johnson Foundation
And SC Johnson.
and the Johnson Foundation of Express that we wanted to see if anybody had?
Well, that was a good point, but we're not gonna do that. Marcus White was so welcoming on a number of occasions, you just can't pass that up.
The referral from the committee, that they narrowed it down to two. So the two were the foundation at Wingspread or the SC Johnson Foundation. So those were the two that were recommended out of the committee. So
Let's entertain, well, I'll make the motion.
So which one would you prefer? Which one do you think?
I stated that. Foundation.
the item A would be a separate vote that you all agree that Sherry Heck would be the one that would get the Citizen of the Year. And then the separate one would be up for debate of versus Foundation at Wingspread or Foundation at SC Johnson.
Just for Sherry, is there some way to, just in a thumbnail sketch, just explain how you came to choose her? Not that I'm questioning the choice. I just thought.
Background for everybody. I think most of those.
Well, she's essentially everywhere, you know, so every voting, you know, every time we take a vote.
She's at the polls.
She's at the polls.
She runs it.
And for the most part,
The community club.
community club, gardening club, she's,
And not just our community. I mean, she's working the,
She
St.
volunteers.
Rita's this weekend. I mean, she's volunteering everywhere.
so,
Herb, I asked the same question that you did in the committee, and we are going to come up with a, you know, more of a criteria for giving these awards. However, we did agree at the time, Sherry Heck has done more long-term for community and various aspects that she was serving of.
That's well deserved for her. So.
what was just said, because it's,
It's,
we should have a more defined.
you're gonna come up with
criteria.
more.
In the future, future years. Just
It's
specify.
pretty easy, I'm sure, for you to.
Yeah. Well, these people.
That only formalizes it. And my interest was not in challenging the selection. It was
No,
in just enumerating her
time.
contribution to the church.
Sure. So
Valuable.
I'll make a motion, Sherry Hess for citizen.
Sherry.
I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
So we got a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes.
Uh-oh.
At the next meeting, I just wanted to let you know, if it gets ready in time, but we'll have like a proclamation with an award, some swag from the village, and just a new shirt. Well, I don't know. It's a surprise. It's a surprise. No, but we'll honor the citizen during the meeting when it's appropriate, when we can announce to her. So I'll keep it a surprise.
It's nice to have positive things.
Then I'll make a motion that we award the Johnson Foundation at Wingspread the Organization of the Year.
I'll second that.
Charlie.
Second,
All in favor?
second,
Aye.
I'm sorry.
Aye.
What was she saying?
You want discussion, Linda?
She was trying to second.
Yeah, I wanted discussion on that.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Second,
discuss, because you broke up. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I got the second.
Oh, you know, I think both, Wingspread and the Johnson Foundation, are both obviously great choices. My vote during committee was for, Mr. Johnson, based on, we're getting our lighthouse painted. We have new signage. We needed a place to dump all of our trees. They've continuously provided both financially and, you know, support, for the village. And I just think that's why I would vote based on those things.
Not to knock the Johnson Foundation or anything, but the donation from for the lighthouse painting was from a private citizen. It was not from a foundation.
An anonymous donor.
It was an anonymous donor.
Oh, okay. I think.
No worries.
And your comment, too, about the foundation, I thought you had mentioned, I just lost it. Marcus, did you say?
Well,
Oh, yeah, it was the using the foundation for the couple of meetings that I've attended, but their support, maybe it was you who made the comment. Who's the manager there?
Marcus White.
Yeah,
Marcus White.
yeah, and so I think he's been incredible. And I thought you had mentioned that. In what you were talking about. So I was just saying, I think that's another reason, not only for the contributions that they've made physically to the village, and whether it's the trees and things of that nature, but also in making the foundation, the Wingspread facility available.
I've never been in there where I could say, well, they could have improved this. Right? It's
Quality all the way.
Yeah, it's absolute top.
And it's open.
I'm sorry.
It's open when those meetings are held there.
Oh, yeah. Extraordinary help.
Yeah.
So the motion is the foundation.
The Johnson Foundation wouldn't spread, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a second.
And
And
there's
there's a second. So are we ready to vote?
We can.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, motion passed. Anything else from community? Okay, please report.
All right, I'm gonna go through the list here. We had a pretty eventful month, especially with the storms. Special thanks to the brothers that work here. One is a resident who actually came in without even being prompted and quickly helped with using the second squad car with blocking roads and responding to these houses with wires down and some traffic accidents in the village the later day. So special thanks to him. The village, on top of that, was rather extremely proactive with their traffic enforcement. I count one marijuana investigation, possession of cocaine, in operating under the influence, third offense. So we got a DUI with for the third time. Fourth one's a charm, a felony. So we'll see what happens. Another marijuana disorderly conduct arrest of a citizen out of the Wind Point area. Continuous calls for service at one specific address in our village that we're still handling. I don't know if anybody saw the picture of our traffic accident with the box truck and the down wire that severed the box truck after the day after the storm.
It makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, that was rather interesting. We had one death investigation in the village of natural causes. Assisting Caledonia on two separate occasions with their calls, one mental subject. So we talked a good amount of time, at least within the last year, as far as the time that it takes and the resources that it takes the officer, the solo officer on patrol, to handle somebody that is a mental subject. And it's labeled as such within our calls for service. And it seems a little bit abrasive to call it that, but that's just what it's labeled in our police records management system. But the time that causes the officer to no longer be on patrol to deal with somebody that's in a mental health crisis, i.e. transferring them from the village to our local hospital, dealing with human services, etc. So I think that we are going to be on an increase with that, especially in the future, given the county's position of no longer assisting us with the trips that are, they don't get housed down here locally. If somebody has to be taken into protective custody, they then have to be brought all the way up to Winnebago. So that means a Wind Point police car with our billboard, maybe seen in pictures, photographs, or videos up in Winnebago. That's where our
The
nearest.
county won't even help?
They won't anymore. No, I was contacted by our chief deputy at the sheriff's office. It's essentially, it was for many years, it was kind of a grandfather, it was just grandfather. We were just expected to do it. We just always took it on, but the overtime costs that it takes, 2 officers need to be on patrol. They'll call individuals in for that. So we were contacted and it was disclosed that they're no longer going to help the agencies. They will in certain circumstances or provide an additional officer, especially if somebody's combative, to transfer them up there to the mental health facility. But it's going to be one of us being called in to assist with that. A couple of alarms. We had an uptick of suspicious persons and vehicle calls for service, but those were relatively majority of them were the permit holders.
What?
The permit holders that were going around for solicitation.
Oh.
That's all I got for you at this point.
Thank you. Okay. I guess it's my turn. Review and possibly take action on the appointment of James Aarons and Karen Jansen to the Plan Commission. And they're not here, but
And so do we need motions for these?
we did.
Do we need discussion on them or do we just go?
They're currently,
I'll make a motion that we appoint James Aarons and Karen Jansen to the Plan Commission.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Okay, review and possibly take action on the appointment of Karen Walker to the Architectural Review Board.
This is a reappointment, right?
I guess that would be, well, it's a point.
I get it,
It's a
but she's
reappointment.
already- Okay.
I'll make a motion to take action on the appointment of Karen Walker to the
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Review and possibly take action on the appointment of Dave Dermott as a non-voting member to the Public Works Committee.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dave Dermott as a non-voting member to the Public Works Committee.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes. Okay, and then I have a couple other things. that I'm gonna do. Wags and Wheels Parade is Tuesday, July 1st at 6:30 p.m. at the Village Green Park. Bill Reed will be our parade marshal. Dress up your bikes, your trikes, your dogs, and yourselves. Come out for a parade around the park. Streets will be served afterwards. It's 6:30 p.m. on July 1st. It's our 4th of July celebration. It's on the 1st. Where I pick that day, but it works. Village picnic Sunday, August 24th from 1 to 4 p.m. We will be having a traditional picnic fair. In addition, we'll have face painting, rock painting, a booth from the zoo. Caledonia EMS is going to be there, as well as the Wind Point Police Department with their vehicles and all the fun stuff that they have. And that's going to be from 1 to 4 p.m. Come rain or shine. We do have
Allison,
two. Yes, ma'am.
when are tickets going on sale for that?
When are tickets?
It's not till August, probably not till sometime in July, because we're trying to work out a QR code so you can buy offline. 2 Jazz in the Park events this year. One will be on Saturday, July 12th, and the other will be Saturday, August 30th. And both will be from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Village Green. And I would like to offer a sincere thank you to our village staff, DPW, Police Department, as well as our surrounding communities that stepped up and helped us after the big storm in May. That without all of you working together and working with the other communities, we would have been in the world. So I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You'll get $1 million. You'll get $1 million. Yeah, you'll get $1 million. Oh, that's right. I'm not Oprah.
Anybody? Building got real small.
Yeah. I would be out of my own bank account, so I get the lottery, you're gonna be. Now it's time for the administrative report.
So we are working on filing for disaster relief within the state of Wisconsin and the Wisconsin Emergency Management Team here in the county. I've had a couple meetings throughout the last couple of weeks with them. We're looking at about $65,000 in damage for the whole village. So we'll get about 70% of that hopefully reimbursed. So we're working on a report for each little incident there is. So we're gonna have lots of paperwork to get done by that deadline. No, it's for the state of Wisconsin to give you money back for all the contracting work and the equipment used and the gas and all that stuff that was used for the communities that came. So that all gets put in a kind of in a form that gets sent to the state to say that you've qualified. And then I've been working with Lorenzo, our emergency management director, to make sure we can qualify and get that money then reimbursed, at least some of it. So
Was there any damage that was insurable, but?
unfortunately, our deductible is too high.
Too high.
Yep. We just missed that by $1,000. If you want to go push some trees down. But yeah, so working on that. So our PSC water rate increase is still in the works with questions with Ellers. Still finalizing some of that. They said they have not seen, this is not the worst they've seen on questions, but hopefully we can hear something back from the PSC shortly on that, and working with Ellers to hopefully finalize everything in our numbers for the upcoming financial management plans to present here shortly. So they should be working on that still and getting that information. And then we'll go over to the alcohol license applications. That error is already fixed. That was submitted by the Shoup Park. We don't fill out these forms. We're not allowed to fill out those forms. They manage 4 golf courses throughout the state of Wisconsin. So that's why that error was there, but it's already been fixed. You can just motion to amend it with that fix.
So, yeah. I saw some other little errors, so we'll just address them as we go through.
Sure.
Okay.
We do not fill these out. These are
No.
they're contractors that work with,
Well,
there are
it
different
wasn't
contractors
those, I
every
just saw
year.
boxes that weren't checked, so.
Yeah, there are different contractors that they work with every year. We're dealing with their HR directors, and there's a lot of hiccups that we've had with the state changing some of their licensing stuff. So whatever you see is allowed to be amended, and as so, but the fix has already been corrected with that first one.
So should any motion be to approve them individually?
I would.
Yes.
Fine. And then should it be an open-ended motion to what you just said, meaning corrections as necessitated by staff and local state regulations?
Yeah, Monica's already fixed the, yeah.
Except that you find some additionals.
In some of the individual ones, I saw boxes being checked, and then they didn't check the license and whatnot. So I'm like, well, how can you apply for a license when you're not checking?
For example, which one?
Not the first one. Just, let me see, go down to that. Yeah, the paper copies, don't you?
I didn't print all those out.
Oh, okay.
Wait, if you look on page 112, there's a box for is unchecked. If you have the package from there.
Okay, you said on 112?
Yeah.
You know, there was a couple of more boxes weren't checked.
Part A, question 4, the municipal fellows, they're in the state.
Well, I mean, even for the license, like which kind of license are you getting?
Municipal retailer state, yeah.
You know, so that it's that kind of stuff. And then
Is Monica caught all that double check?
where it determines how much the fee is. You know, it says the fee on the right hand side, $1,000, but it doesn't have the boxes checked of which license. Is it a beer license, a wine license?
Which, but I got
So
box
which one is
4
that?
on 112.
So, I wish I printed this out. Okay, So on page 121. An example, it's one for the council house. $1,000 license, but none of the licenses are checked.
We'll have them check it off.
Did you see? You should mention
Pardon me?
it. I think it's worth mentioning if you have others.
Yeah, well,
That's
I wish I printed them up because I think
I wish I had
because there was a couple of them that I saw that, and that's why I was like, I gotta remember to say something. And then
We'll check with the group to make sure that
The I's are valid and the T's are wrong.
that they're that they filled everything out correct, but
And we're able to amend those. you sign.
yeah, they're not due to the state.
And so
so
Rob, I think it was Rob. who made it.
They, none of them are checked. No one has checked box for in any of the
So when
applications.
do they do
well,
this?
that was my other one, is on the applications.
When do they do?
They're
to the
not
state?
checking the box, did you?
None of them have.
When do they do to the state?
When
July.
they do to the July.
So
So can we?
push this off to the
Push
next
this off
meeting
to
and
the
get
next one.
everything corrected?
Make sure all
Because even the applications of the people, for the bartenders, didn't fill, a couple of them filled them out correctly. But my thing is, you can't fill it out correctly, why should I approve it? They didn't state whether or not they completed the bartending course.
Yeah, they've brought in the paperwork. That's all paperwork they submit to us that you don't really see in front of you. They submit that to us like as a license that's emailed to the form, and then we upload it to like the Wisconsin DOR website, which none of you have access to, only we do. So, I mean, they fill this all out. I don't know how they fill this out. I don't handle this. I don't know. Monica's done it for the last 8 years that's been here. So I don't know if they need to check every box. I don't know.
So,
Sure,
so,
okay,
so
that's
so there could be a chance that Monica has enough. These are renewals of licenses. Monica already knows the parties from the standpoint of the major entities, we'll call them, okay? And if there's any issues, she either probably, I would assume, emails or calls, and then make sure it's properly uploaded to the state, because she's done this now for.
Yeah, and we've had
8+ years.
Mount Pleasant reviews everything we submit for the Jill over at Mount
And
Pleasant.
some
so.
are filled out correctly
All right,
lately.
with
They
that,
checked all the boxes, and then some haven't been checked.
if, and I get it, I mean, they should be done right, but if staff has a history of doing these, and they're reviewed by Mount Pleasant on top of that, before they are allowed to go to the state, then they wouldn't get to the state if they weren't filled out properly online, of which we, Travis' point, don't have it, so it was splitting hairs. It's great that everybody saw these, and I missed them, I
Well,
apologize.
there's like 3 in a row here.
Yeah, but if we're, here's the other thing, don't get mad because you very easily could, but if there's 3 in a row, then let's write them down and have them handy so we can rip them off instead of scrolling through it for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So that's very efficient.
Sounds like you'd like to make a motion to approve these.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna make a motion. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the renewal of Class B beer and Class B liquor alcohol license application for Shoot Park Golf Course 4510 Lighthouse Drive, July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Agent Matthew.
And that's been corrected, you said.
Yes,
Okay, all in favor?
we have let them know.
Pardon me?
We've let them know already. We emailed them and Monica's emailed them and said, hey, you've got to fix this.
That's it.
Linda, we're losing you.
Ricky,
Sorry.
was that an aye?
Aye.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion for the renewal of Class B beer and Class B liquor alcohol license for the Council House Ltd. 22 to 3 Mile Road, July 1, 2025 to June 30, 2026. Agent David Dietrich.
And this pending corrections. Because they just have to go.
Pending, thank you, pending corrections to the license application.
In 2 miles, get to 840
Second, anybody?
Second.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Vote, please.
Aye.
right, and I will make a motion for renewal of Class B beer, and Class B liquor alcohol license for Benchmark Conference Wisconsin LLC, also known as Wings Spread, 33 East 4 Mile Road, July 1, 2025, June 30, 2026. Again, Agent David Dietrich.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
I saw her mouth, I
Alex.
saw her mouth.
Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes. Okay. Review possible action on operator license applications. So those are the ones where they weren't all completely filled out, but they the background checks were done and investigator is approved.
Right, so I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the operator license in the operator license applications in our packet.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes.
All right, here's where I take over. again.
Any corrections that will take place, we'll email you a copy of them so that they're shown. Like I said, we do not fill these out. We're not allowed to touch them. So.
Right, I'm gonna make a motion that we consent receive file items, item 1, village and utility financial reports made 2025. Item 2, court reports made 2025. Item 3, police reports made 2025. Item 4, fire and EMS reports made 2025. Permit reports made 2025.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes. Okay. Do I have a motion to?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, we have any referrals?
Well, just basically out of PFIC to get with Excel engineering on what some possible breakdown on other costs and taking a look at the schematics.
And then he'll get the updated correct information out. Licenses.
There's another thing that they need to do.
Okay, so I have a motion to
I'll
adjourn.
make the motion to adjourn. Second.
Charlie? All in favor?
Aye. 6:42.
Motion is adjourned. 6:42.
Thank you.
Thank you.